So I saw this video the other day. And that's exactly how I felt when I watched the video that Amanda Todd posted right before she took her own life. She was a 15-year-old girl who sadly and very tragically ended her own life in 2012 after being cyberbullied and sexually extorted by a grown man. After years of this abuse, she posted an 8-minute-long video on YouTube telling her own story, how she met someone in an online webcam chat, he pressured her into flashing him, and when she finally did, he screenshotted the topless image of her. She was only 12 years old, by the way, and he was 29. For the next several years, he would send this private photo to all of her family, friends, and even her teachers. It didn't matter if she moved cities. He would find her and try to ruin her life. After she posted this video online, she would go on to take her own life just 1 month later. I remember watching this when I was 14 years old and not knowing what I was about to see. Her story in that video has stuck with me ever since. So let's talk about it. So this is Amanda Todd. Amanda lived with her mom, Carol, in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. And before all of this happened, she was a really happy little girl. She loved the snow, even though she didn't get much of it where she lived. She loved singing, art, animals, and she loved the color purple. She was your typical radiant little girl, and her nickname was Princess Snowflake. In 2009, when Amanda was in 7th grade, she went to go live with her dad for a few years, and it was then that she began getting online and visiting online chat rooms. More specifically, she used a site called Blog TV, a live streaming and chat platform that was super popular with teenagers around 2009 and 2010. Users could broadcast themselves live and chat with either strangers or friends. It's kind of similar to Omegle, which I used a lot as a kid, and I can understand why teenagers would want to use it. Anyways, Amanda said that when she would live stream with these people and in the chat rooms, she would get a ton of compliments on her looks, and this kind of gave her a boost of confidence. While she was online, Amanda met this man right here, 29-year-old Aiden Coben, who lived in the Netherlands. They chatted for an entire year together, off and on, and at first, Aiden seemed nice. Amanda felt like his attention was always just on her. Well, over the course of that year, Aiden would begin asking Amanda, who was 12 years old and a literal child, for a topless photo of her. She didn't give in at first, but finally, after a year had passed, he pressured her into sending him a nude photo. What she didn't know, though, was that Aiden had secretly screenshotted this topless photo of her, and he would go on to do unspeakable things with it. After he had the photo of Amanda, he began blackmailing her. He said that unless she put on a show for him, he would send this picture to all of her family and friends. But Amanda stood her ground, and she tried to ignore him. Sadly, though, Aiden was persistent, and he began sharing the photo to everyone he could. During the 2010 Christmas break, the police actually showed up to Amanda's home to notify her and her family that this topless photo of her was circulating online. As much as her family pushed the RCMP to do something, especially because this involved a nude photo of a minor being spread by a grown man, their response was, quote, "There's just not much that we can do." End quote. At the time, Amanda knew what Aiden looked like, but outside of this, no one knew his real identity. So at this point in time, it was like Amanda and her family were up against this unknown man that nobody could track down. And knowing what we know now, it also kind of seems like the RCMP didn't really try hard enough. I mean, this guy was ruthless. Aiden even went on to send this photo to all of Amanda's friends at school. So after this, she began getting bullied so badly. And it didn't stop there either. She was also severely cyberbullied by everyone online, so she constantly felt scared and alone. Because of this, she became anxious, depressed, and developed panic disorders. Her family decided they needed a change and ended up moving to a new home. And for the first year there, her blackmailer didn't try reaching back out. It felt like a fresh start, but Amanda was still deeply scarred by what happened, so she turned to drugs and alcohol. Fast forward a year later, and this is when Aiden crept his way back in. He would create fake account after fake account on Facebook, and he would use her topless photo as the profile picture every single time. He then followed everyone she was friends with online and sent them all the photo of her, which sadly included her classmates at her new school. Amanda was once again at the center of being bullied and ostracized for this, even though she was a victim and not the one doing anything bad. So she changed schools for a second time, hoping to leave all of this behind her. But sadly, things only escalated. Once she moved, she started talking to this older guy at her new school who invited her over. Once there, the two had sex even though he had a girlfriend. Amanda admitted that this was a huge mistake, but she said that he made it seem like he really liked her. Keep in mind, she was only 14 or 15 at the time, so please show some sympathy and understand that we all do things at this age that in hindsight, probably isn't a good idea. The following week, that boy's girlfriend and 15 other people at the new school confronted Amanda. They cussed her out, told her nobody liked her, and beat her up. They left her in a ditch where her dad eventually found her. I'd just like to point out that the guy in this situation seems to have just gotten away with doing something really bad, and I don't think that was very fair to Amanda at all. After this attack, Amanda was at one of the lowest points in her life ever. She attempted to end her own life by drinking bleach, but her family found her in time and thankfully rushed her to the hospital where she had her stomach pumped. When she came home from the hospital, she walked into an even bigger nightmare. Everyone online was shaming her for trying to end her own life, and this even sparked the drink bleach meme. She was constantly being harassed even after struggling this bad. She felt more alone than ever. In March of 2012, the Todd family moved once again in hopes of starting fresh, but Aiden was always one step ahead of them. Every time Amanda changed schools, he would be right there lurking in the background. He would make so many fake accounts just to add her and all of her new friends on Facebook. Aiden even pretended to be a new student, and just when everyone believed him, he would send them all the topless photo of Amanda. He even sent this photo to her classmates' parents and the teachers at her school. Like, this guy was relentless. You'd think that this would open up people's eyes and make them realize that Amanda was a victim, but no, they all bullied her so badly for this. And then she began self-harming. At one point, she attempted to end her own life again by overdosing, after which she spent 2 days in the psychiatric hospital. Because of how much school she missed in hospitals for her severe depression, and paired with the fact that she had a learning disability, she had bad grades, which people made fun of her for. Kids would even call her a psycho for trying to get mental help. This brings us to September 7th, 2012. This is when Amanda posted a nearly 9-minute long YouTube video titled Struggling, Bullying, Suicide, Self-Harm. In the video, she is silent, only shown from the face down, and she tells the entire story I just told you using flashcards. She wanted to tell her own story in her own words because up until then, everyone had their own opinions of her. She wrote how badly she struggled with depression and how much she didn't want to be alive on some days. But she also made this video in hopes of saving other young kids from the suffering she experienced. What you're looking at right now are the final photos ever taken of Amanda Todd, just 2 days before she would successfully end her own life. On October 10th, 2012, Amanda's body was found hanging in her family's home. When the RCMP arrived, they said it was clear that she ended her own life and that no foul play was involved. But I want to talk about that for a second because, yes, foul play was definitely involved. Even if someone didn't physically end her life for her, everyone who bullied her, and specifically Aiden Coben, played a huge role in what happened. Because of Amanda's story, the public urged the RCMP to investigate this case. They assigned 20 full-time investigators to examine everything. They conducted interviews. They looked at the full scope of things that could have contributed to her death. And lastly, they began examining every social media site that she used. And that's when they were finally able to track down her blackmailer and put a name to the face, Aiden Coben. This came after Facebook's security unit conducted an in-depth investigation. And 2 years, almost to the day that Amanda died, he was finally arrested. Now it's 2014. And at this point in time, Aiden was already in prison for sexual blackmail in the Netherlands. That case involved 39 other victims, many of which were children and had been harassed by him for years. Investigators in that case found chilling chat logs, numerous images of CSAM, and 5,800 bookmarked names of potential victims in the Netherlands, UK, and Canada. This is when they also connected him back to Amanda Todd. He was 35 years old at the time, and he was eventually charged with indecent assault, possession and distribution of CP, extortion, internet luring, and criminal harassment. He, of course, denied this and has since maintained his innocence, but the evidence was overwhelming. What's crazy is that in 2015, Dutch authorities dropped some of his CP charges. The trial for that started in 2017, and he faced 72 charges in the Netherlands for the 39 victims, not including Amanda. For that, he was eventually found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison. But for Amanda, he was facing 5 additional charges, and in 2020, he was extradited to Canada. The trial for Amanda's case started in 2022, and Aiden Coben was eventually found guilty on all charges. He was then sentenced to 13 years in prison. He showed absolutely no remorse for what he did to her or any of his other victims, which is atrocious. At first, this seemed like some form of justice for Amanda and her family, but this was very short-lived because in 2023, a Dutch judge reduced his sentence for his crimes against Amanda to just 6 years in prison. This will be served consecutively to the 10-year sentence that he was already serving. This means that Aiden Coben will likely be released from prison in 2030, which is literally 4 years away. I don't think that's justice. And I'm wondering why a man like this could ever be released back into the public. He's never shown remorse, and he was tactical and incredibly smart with how he harassed and stalked his victims for years. In my opinion, that's not someone who will change. Mark my words, when he gets out, he will do this again. It's just a matter of time. Unfortunately, even more things came to light that make me just so mad for Amanda and her family. So cybertip.ca, which is a Canadian child exploitation organization, came forward and said that they actually received a tip about Amanda Todd a year before her death. In November 2011, a concerned citizen reported the nude images of Amanda circulating the internet. The group then reported this information to the RCMP and different child welfare agencies. They did this so that they could intervene and help Amanda because she was a victim. The RCMP was repeatedly informed that she was being sexually extorted by a grown adult male, but they only ever responded, quote, "There's nothing we can do about it." End quote. This is 100% not true, by the way. Sextortion can be investigated, especially if it involves a minor. And in this case, they had more than enough evidence. It just seems like the RCMP truly just did not care to help. Amanda Todd was only 15 years old when she died. Nobody wanted to help her. Nobody cared until it was too late. After she died, the video that she posted on YouTube went viral, gaining millions of views even to this day. It was even shown on many different news agencies, and it sparked a major conversation about internet safety and cyberbullying and how your words matter. It led to a national conversation about holding people responsible and criminalizing cyberbullying. Vigils were held for Amanda in 38 different countries, and she became known as the girl who woke up the world. It's just sad because even in death, she still gets bullied. The Facebook memorial page for her still gets littered with horrific things, and at one point, her autopsy photos were even leaked. As sad as her story is, I think more people should view it as a story of strength. Amanda's mom, Carol, went on to create the Amanda Todd Legacy Trust, which amplifies anti-bullying awareness and education, and it also promotes programs and support for young people with mental health struggles. If there's ever a story that has stuck with me, it's this one. Amanda's story is a heartbreaking reminder that what happens online can have very real, lasting consequences. If you're watching this and find yourself struggling, please know that you are not alone. In the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm also linking Amanda's legacy in my bio for anyone who wants to learn more, donate, or help support the work being done to continue her message and raise awareness around online safety and bullying.